I gave you this activity for you guys to name unbranched hydrocarbons, and I want us guys to do this activity quick and finish with it, because we must do the branched hydrocarbons today. Hey, our syllabus moves so quick, guys. Hey, there's a lot that you need to do, and I realized that I'm actually slow. I should be faster than I have been before. So I gave you this task, guys, where you have to name each of the following hydrocarbons using the IUPAC naming system. The IUPAC standard is the one that we did, guys. You still remember the IUPAC naming system, right? Now, let's see if you guys were able to do the activity. Let us start with the first 4 questions. What name did you guys find for this compound? What name did you guys find for this compound?
Is it heptane?
Okay, someone found heptane. I'm talking about compound A, by the way, guys.
Oh, my bad.
Hept/3/ine, sir.
Okay, so Sammy says hept/3/ine, but you can only find that out if we actually draw the actual thing, right? So let's write this structural formula. Let's write this in a structural formula, because this is condensed. We cannot work with a condensed formula, guys. You guys can guess the names and stuff like that, yeah, but it's not accurate. Please write the structural formula first. Okay, after writing the structural formula, you can be able to see how many bonds are where and stuff like that. So let's write the structural formula. This is CH3, so I'm going to write a C having 3 hydrogens bonded to it. Then this CH3 is bonded to a CH2, so this is a C having 2 hydrogens bonded to it. Then this is bonded to another CH2, so this is a C having 2 hydrogens. And then after that we have got CCC. Do you guys see that from the structure, from the condensed formula? This CCC.
Yes.
So we have got 3 carbons, CCC. Draw 3 of them just as single bonds for now, okay? And the 3rd carbon is bonded to the 2 hydrogens here, and then here we have got another CH3, so it means we have got 3 hydrogens bonded here. You first do the structural formula, write the structural formula, but you guys notice that if you notice that these 2 carbons, both of them, they don't have enough bonds, because remember that the carbon atom must be bonded 4 times, or it must be bonded to 4 other atoms. Okay, let's just say it must be bonded 4 times. But if we count the number of bonds on this carbon as well as on this carbon, we're having 2 on each. So it means that we must have 2 other bonds between them, so that each can have 4 bonds in total. So if we add 2 other bonds between these 2, this is going to be a triple bond. So it means that this is an alkyne. Okay, so now according to your naming standard A, what did you say the name was, Sam?
So are you talking about the name of the...
Yes, I think you gave me a name. No, I'm talking about the entire compound. What did you say?
The name of the compound?
Yes.
IUPAC name. I said,
of course.
Hept/3.
Yes.
/3.
Yes.
/wine, like WYNE, man.
YNE. So this is hept3ine. So guys, remember that here this is an unbranched one. We don't have any branch. You just count the number of carbons in the longest chain. In this case, we only have got 1 chain. And do we count from left to right or from right to left our carbons? Why and why, basically?
So we count from right to left.
So from right to left. Why are we counting from right to left for this compound?
So that the carbon that has a triple bond has the lowest number possible.
Yes. So basically the carbon having the triple bond, which is our functional group, it is way more closer to this carbon here, So we'd rather count from this carbon rather than counting from this one. Okay, so if you guys have been following up with the previous session, I showed you how to count the number of carbons. You count from the carbon that is the most closest to the functional group, so that the carbon having the functional group would have the lowest number. So this is carbon 1, this is carbon 2, this is carbon 3, this is carbon 4, this is carbon 5, carbon 6, and carbon 7. So there are 7 carbons in the parent chain, okay? And we use hept for that. So there are 7 carbons is hept. We use hept for that. And then now, because now this is an alkyne that is having more than 3 carbons in it, we need to indicate where the triple bond is found. The triple bond in actuality is found between carbon 3 and carbon 4. You can see I'm highlighting it here. It's between carbon 3 and carbon 4. But we will choose to say that our triple bond is found on carbon 3. So we choose the lowest number. Okay. The lowest numbered carbon that has got this triple bond is carbon 3. So this is hept 3. And then the last part of the name must indicate the homologous series to which this organic molecule belongs. In this case, this organic molecule has got a triple bond, so it means it's an alkyne, hence a suffix YNE, which is "-ine" at the end. So good on that one. Let's hear the name of compound C. What is the compound B? I mean, what is the name of compound B? Let's see.
It's a heptane.
You can raise your hands, of course. What is it? Yes, Orifa.
So it's a heptane.
Yes, it's just heptane. So in this case, it's a simple alkane, guys. You can see that this is a simple alkane having 7 carbons. It's clear, guys, that we're having 7 carbons in the parent chain. For an alkane, guys, you can count from any direction because an alkane's functional group is everywhere, is on each and every carbon. So you don't have to count from left to right or from right to left in a specific order. You can just randomly say this is carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, carbon 4, this is carbon 5, 6, and carbon 7. So you can count in any order if it's an alkane, because the actual functional group for alkanes is just single bonds, so it can be found anywhere. So this is just heptane. Okay, so what is the other way of writing the first compound? Instead of writing hept 3-ine, how else can I write compound A? Instead of just writing hept 3-ine like the way Sam said. Yes, let's hear from, who's this? Samsung A05. Who's Samsung A05?
Matlodi.
Hey, Matlodi, why did you change your name today? Okay, you can tell us the answer, Matlodi.
3-heptane. Heptane.
Yes, you can say this is 3-heptane. So instead of writing the position of the triple bond in the middle of the name like we did it first, you can choose to write it first before you write the heptane. Then you just write heptane without any number in it. Are you guys clear?
Yes.
Okay, what about compound C? What name did you find for compound C?
So my hand is up.
I cannot see your hand, Orifa. Why is your hand not visible from my? It's now up now. Yes.
So I wanted to ask a question before I answer C.
Yes.
So you see this on heptane.
Yes.
So for the second option, right?
Yes.
So I know it's right? But like, sir, wouldn't it help you to write it Sam's way? Because like when they start having branches and stuff, doesn't it get complicated?
I think you said the same thing last time, and I told you that it's still fine. Use the way that's comfortable to you the most.
Okay, sir. So can I answer C?
Yes, you can now.
So it's a butene.
What?
So it's a butene.
Butene, just butene.
Butene. Oh, I just want to correct Orifa. It's 2-butene.
Yes, you can say it's 2-butene. So this is 2 butene. Or you can say this is but2
Two in.
in. This is but2 in. So you just tell us this 2 here is representing where you are finding the what, where you are finding the position of the functional group. In this case, for compound C, you can see that our functional group is a double bond between 2 carbons. If you count here, when you count, you can count from right or from the left. It's still the same because this is carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4. Even if you count from right to left, the double bond will still occupy the position 2. So we are having 4 carbons. That's why the first part of the name must have a but in it. And then remember, but is for 4, right? And then you mention the carbon that is bearing the functional group. In this case, the carbon bearing the functional group, the functional group double bond is between carbon 2 and carbon 3, but you are going to take the lowest numbered carbon bearing the functional group. In this case, it is carbon number 2. And then the last part of the name, it is the what? The suffix, which tells you the homologous series to which this compound belongs. In this case, this belongs to alkenes because we can see a double bond as the functional group. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Let's be quick. Let's do D. What is D? What name did you find for D, Sam?
So I found hex 3 in.
Okay, so Sam found hex 3 in. Let's just rewrite this as a structural formula first. The structural formula is saying CH3, so this is a carbon that is bonded to 3 hydrogens as the structural formula says, right? CH3, so it's a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. Then after this CH3, we go to a CH2. So we go to CH2. So after that, it's a carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens. Can you guys all see that?
Yes.
And then after that, we go to CH. There's a CH there. So it means that we have got a carbon bonded to a hydrogen atom. So that's going to be a carbon bonded to 1 hydrogen atom. Okay, and then we have a double bond here. In this case, they showed you the double bond, so you just need to put the double bond. Okay, they showed you the double bond, and then after the double bond, you've got what? You've got a CH again, so it's a carbon that is bonded to 1 hydrogen. So I will write carbon bonded to 1 hydrogen, and then after the CH, there's a CH2 there. There's a CH2 after the CH, so it means this is a carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens. That's CH2 for you. And then the last part of this condensed formula is the CH3. It's a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. So I'm going to draw a carbon bonded to 3 hydrogens. So there's a hydrogen up there. There's a hydrogen on the right hand side. There's also a hydrogen down here. So this is the complete structural formula for the compound. Now all we need to do is to detect the homologous series. This is an alkene, as Sam said, because there's a double bond here. But now when we now want to number the carbons, we can either number them from left or from the right. But which one is the most correct? All of them are correct in this case. Do you guys kind of see that? Are all of them correct? Are all the numbering ways correct, from left to right and right to left?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so we can number from left to right and say this is carbon 1, carbon 2, this is carbon 2, right? And this is carbon 3, this is carbon 4, and then this is carbon 5, this is carbon 6. So we're having 6 carbons. So we know that our name must have something to do with hex. It must have an hex in it. That is the root name, the hex. Then we say dash because we now want to indicate where do we find our functional group? In this case, our functional group is a double bond, and this double bond is found between the carbon 3 and carbon 4. So between carbon 3 and carbon 4, we have got a double bond. Okay, so which number are we going to write here between 3 and 4?
3.
3, yes. We take the lowest numbered carbon that has got this double bond. And then the suffix, what are we going to write?
So we're going to write in.
We're going to write in, which is ENE. This is hex 3 in, because we have got what? Because we have got our alkene. This is an alkene. By seeing the double bond, we know that this is an alkene. So at the end of this name, we must write an ENE to show that we know that this is an alkene. We did many exercises on how to identify the homologous series, so that's why I expect you guys to already understand how to easily identify these homologous series. Okay, so now let's go now to the second part of the activity, which is let's see, write the structural and the condensed formula for each of the following compounds. So write the structural and as well as the condensed formula. So we want a structural formula. We also want a condensed formula for each of the following compound. Let's start with octane. Can you guys, are you guys able to write the structural formula for octane?
Yeah.
What must it have? How can I write it?
So we're just going to have 6.
One person at a time by the show of hands. Yes, Oliver.
So for the structural, so you want us to do the structural one, right?
First, yes.
So we're gonna have 8 carbons, all joined by a single bond, bonded to hydrogen.
Yes, because it's an oct. This oct is telling us we have got 8 carbons in the parent chain. Okay, so this is oct. So it means we are going to draw. We're gonna write 8 carbons. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we join them using single bonds only, because we've been told that this is an alkane, because this is octane. So at the end of the name, the A in there tells us what? It tells us that this is an alkane. This A tells us it's an alkane. So there must be single bonds between carbon atoms. But guys, remember, an alkane is a hydrocarbon, and each and every carbon must have 4 bonds in total. So these carbons, you need to fill up their bonds using hydrogen atoms, which is hydrogen atoms on each and every one here to make your octane. Is this hard, guys, to do?
No, sir.
It's not at all, right? So basically, make sure or ensure that your carbons are surrounded by the right number of hydrogens. They must have 4 bonds in total. This is a hydrocarbon. This is a saturated hydrocarbon known as an octane. How can you write this as a structural formula? The condensed formula now, because I said write the structural as well as the condensed formula. Who can tell us how we can write the condensed formula? Yes, Oliver.
So it's gonna be CH3.
CH3.
CH.
CH.
CH2, I mean.
CH2, yes.
CH2.
CH2 again.
Basically 6 CH2s.
Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then after that?
And then CH3.
And then CH3. Okay, it's a long way of writing things, of course, Sam.
Did simplify it now, saying CH3, ngathi open bracket, ngathi CH2, ngathi close 6. Therefore, got that CH3.
Yes, this is another simplified way of doing the condensed formula. Let's just show why we did that and why do we say this is the correct way. Guys, remember the condensed formula, you just write the carbon and you tell us how many hydrogens or how many other atoms are bonded to the hydrogen. Okay, so now this is the first carbon C. It is bonded to 3 hydrogens. Okay, it's like 1 2 3 hydrogens. That's why you write CH3. Then after that, this carbon number 2, it is bonded to 2 hydrogens. That's why you say this is CH2. And then this carbon is bonded to another carbon again, bonded to 2 hydrogens. So that's another CH2. You continue again. This is another CH2, another carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens. Then another carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens. Then another carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens. Then another carbon bonded to 2 hydrogens again. Then the last carbon, this carbon, it is bonded to 3 hydrogens. You guys can see them. We're having 3 hydrogens here. It's 1, 2, 3. So this is another CH3 at the end of the day. So this is the condensed formula. But if you are having too many things that look alike or that look the same, you can just put them in a bracket and tell us how many they are. For example, here our SEMs realize that we have got CH2, many CH2s here. This is CH2, 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 CH2 until here. There are 6 CH2s here. So instead of writing the CH2 one by one individual, you can just open a bracket and write CH2 inside the bracket, then write a 6 as a subscript to show that we have got 6 of these CH2s. Yes, Orifa?
In a test, will you get 0 if you don't simplify?
No. You can still write it in its longest form. This is just another way of writing it. Yes. And then after you are done writing this CH2 about 6, then you write the CH3. Because after these 6 CH2s, we still have a CH3 at the end here that we must also indicate. Yes, now.
Okay, sir. I know that I'll be out of line, but my question is, will I be wrong if I say C8 and then H16? You're sorry, H18.
Okay, if you say
C8 and then H18.
H18. Okay, this is a correct thing, but this is not what has been asked by the question. The question wants the condensed formula. This formula, what is it known as, this formula? The one that was given by Senawe, guys. What do we say this is the name of this formula? What is the name of this formula? Sam?
Molecular, sir.
It's known as a molecular formula. Yes, this is known as a molecular formula. So the molecular formula is that formula where you have to indicate what we have got 8 carbons in total and 18 hydrogens in total. You write these 8 and this 18 as subscripts. That's a molecular formula. But when they want a condensed formula, you tell us you have got carbon 1, how many hydrogens is it bonded to? Then you move to carbon 2, how many hydrogen is it bonded to? Until you finish the compound. Are we clear now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, this is known as a molecular formula. You will use it when you need to do the molecular formula, when you are told. Okay, let's go to B, guys. A quick hex 3-ine. Draw the structural formula and the condensed formula. How can we approach this?
B, sir.
Yes?
Well, it's kind of tricky, but yes, I just separated carbon. Yeah. Like I said, 2 carbons. After that, I substituted hydrogen.
While we are doing B, hex 3-ine, you are given the name hex 3-ine. And they say, write the structural and the condensed formula. Yes, let's see from a. Okay, see now.
Nase andiyazi. Khandiphakamisa ihlansi.
Okay, let's hear from Orifa. Don't raise the hands, guys, if you're not answering or asking something. Yes, yes, Orifa.
So, so what I did, I counted from left to right.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So I counted. I did one carbon, single bond, second carbon, single bond, third carbon, triple bond, fourth carbon, single bond, fifth carbon, single bond, then the sixth one.
Okay, the simplest thing that you guys can do is to first count how many carbons you must have. You must build the parent chain first. The parent chain says hex. The hex tells you that we're having how many carbons in the longest chain or the parent chain. We're having 6 of them. Right, so we must first do 6 carbons. Just do 6 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now this is an alkyne. This is hex 3-ine. Okay, you can just count in any order of your choice because you are the one drawing the compound. If this is your carbon 1, this is carbon 2, this is carbon 3, this is carbon 4, this is carbon 5, this is carbon 6. Okay, this hex, it means 6 carbons in the parent chain, the one that we have just written right now. Now the 3-ine, what does it tell us, guys? The 3-ine, what did we say it tell us? It tells us last time.
It's a triple bond.
It's a triple bond, and she tells us that these are alkynes. The YNE tells us these are alkynes, and you know that alkynes have got a triple bond between the 2 carbons. But now this 3, it specifies to tell us that this triple bond, which is the functional group for alkynes, it is found on carbon number 3. So your carbon number 3 is this one in this case. So your carbon number 3, you count them, actually it's 1, 2, 3. And when you reach carbon 3, you put the what? You put the triple bond. Here's a triple bond. Okay. Oh, showing your carbon 3, Jan. Not on your carbon 2. On carbon 3. When you reach to carbon 3, this is 1, 2, 3. When you reach carbon 3, you put your triple bond. Remember, guys, your bond will be between carbon 3 and carbon 4. But when you are naming, remember that you use the smallest numbered carbon. Okay, so here your triple bond is between carbon 3 and carbon 4. But when you are naming it, you're gonna say that the triple bond is on carbon 3 because you kind of look at the lowest numbered carbon that has got the triple bond. Then the rest you fill with the rest of the carbons. It means that they have single bonds between them. And then to complete this, remember, guys, that we need some hydrogen atoms because alkynes, they are hydrocarbons. They must have some hydrogen as well as carbon atoms. So put hydrogens on each and every remaining space so that each and every carbon has got how many bonds in total? How many bonds must each carbon have?
It must have 4.
Yes, so each and every carbon must have 4 bonds. So should I add the hydrogen here?
No. Eh? No.
It will be definitely incorrect because when you count the number of bonds here, you've got 1 and here there are 3. So this is 2, 3, 4. Then this hydrogen will be 5. That can't be, guys. So basically, whenever you place your hydrogens, make sure that you maintain that each carbon have at least 4 bonds in total. Okay, so this is 4 bonds on each carbon. This one doesn't have 4 bonds. It is remaining with 2 bonds which go to hydrogen. This one similarly, it must have 3 other hydrogens to have 4 bonds. So each and every carbon must be surrounded by 4 lines in total. It must have 4 bonds. So this is your structural formula for hex 3-ine. Then the condensed formula is stated quickly. Yes, Sam.
It's going to be CH3,
CH3,
CH2,
CH2,
CCC,
CCC,
H2,
H2,
CH3.
CH3. Okay, so this is our condensed formula. This is our structural condensed formula. You can say it's known as a condensed formula, or you can say structural condensed formula. You indicate that the first carbon is bonded to 3 hydrogens, so this is CH3. Okay, the second carbon is bonded to 2 hydrogens, this is CH2. The third carbon is just on its own, so you just write carbon, and it is bonded to the next carbon, this one. Okay, this one, between carbon 3 and carbon 4, you also write that carbon as well. Then after that, there's another carbon here that is bonded to 2 hydrogens, so this is carbon with 2 hydrogens, CH2. Then the last carbon here at the end with 3 hydrogens, this is CH3. Do you guys all notice that? Yes, it's way more easier, guys. It's way more easier, so let's complete. What about compound C? What is the structural formula for compound C? Yes, Sam?
I say go homogeneous series set we have alkane, alkenes, and alkynes. Therefore, I'm alkenes also.
Why?
Why I say that? Because of ECA2, it has a double bond in between. Therefore, I'm a hydrogenator by 4.
Who told you that there's a double bond? That's where my kind of question is coming from.
Okay, sir. I started Mikake in Berlin and I'm carbon A2 separately, sir. Then I checked, but I need to have 2 hydrogens in each carbon. Therefore, we must have a double bond in between.
Okay, so Sam put 2 hydrogens on the, okay, since we're having 4 hydrogens, he divided them and put 2 hydrogens on each carbon. Then he said, for this to make sense, we must have a double bond inside. That's one way, and that's correct as well. Let's hear from Orifa.
No, sir, I was saying that I agree with Sam.
Oh, guys, what is the other way of seeing that these are alkenes without drawing them?
Formula, sir.
What about the formula? Let's hear from Bandisile.
When you substitute the number of carbons into the functional group of alkanes, you get H4.
Okay, into the general formula.
Is
yes, exactly.
Alkene.
Yes, exactly as Sam said as well. So guys, you can notice that here the number of carbons is 2, but the number of hydrogens is 4. That's a relationship between those two. The number of hydrogens is actually 2 times the number of carbons. Do you guys notice that the number of carbons is 2 here? The number of hydrogens is 4. So what does that mean? The number of hydrogen is 2 times the number of carbon atoms. Okay, the number of hydrogen atoms is 2 times the number of carbon atoms. So this generally, in a general way, it means that when you've got a certain number of carbons, for us to find the number of hydrogens, we multiply it by 2. And this is the general formula for what? For alkenes. So once you see that this is a hydrocarbon, number one thing, this must be a hydrocarbon. It must only have carbon and hydrogen atoms only. Guys, you can see that from this molecular formula given, we only have got a carbon there. We only have got a hydrogen. So this is a hydrocarbon. Okay, it's a hydrocarbon. We don't have any other atom in the molecular formula. So it's a hydrocarbon. Now, when you compare the atoms, the number of atoms of each element here, the number of atoms of carbon here, the number of carbon atoms is 2, and the number of hydrogen atoms is 4. What's the relationship between that? the number of hydrogen atoms is double the number of carbon atoms. That's what this 2n means. That if we've got a certain number of carbon atoms, to find the number of hydrogen atoms, if it's an alkene, we multiply the number of carbons by 2. So if we are having 2 carbons as the if we're having 2 carbons as the number of carbons, the number of hydrogens will be 2 times 2, which will be 4. Exactly as what we've been given here. So even without drawing the structure, you guys must be able to recognize that this is definitely an alkene. Are you guys clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's do the condensed formula quickly. What's going to be our condensed formula there? Yes, Orifa?
So would it not be CH2?
Yes.
Like in a bracket?
Yeah, you can say that, or you can say this is CH2, CH2. Okay, so you can say CH2, CH2. Let's go for a 10 minutes break, then we'll come back. We're on question D, guys. Question D. You are given a name here. They say it's but3ene. But3ene. The question is, write the structural and the condensed formula for each of the following. But after writing the structural formula of the but3ene, you should try and explain why this naming is wrong. Why is the naming wrong? Let's hear from Orifa.
So what if you didn't do the first question? What if you just went on to say why it's wrong?
Oh, Pela, did you see that this question A, B, C, D have the instruction on top, which is 1.2, that says write the structural and the condensed formula for each of the following compounds.
Yes, but I understand, sir, but isn't it at D, it says explain why this is wrong. So I thought maybe we are doing that so that we could eventually explain. So I just explained.
Okay, how can you explain without illustrating? You wrote English in physics. Physics is about illustrating what you know. Let's hear Bandisel.
So I draw the structural formula. I said C, triple bond C, then
C,
C.
okay, wait, C, C,
triple bond.
triple bond.
Yes, I started from the left to right.
Why is it a triple bond?
Okay, let's say C, then a single bond then.
Okay.
I started from the back.
Okay, continue.
Then another C. Then the fourth one. Then the triple bond, I'll put it in the third carbon molecule.
Triple bond. Is it a triple bond, guys, for this for this molecule?
Most of the double bond.
It's a double bond.
Double bond.
Yes, the name is ending with an ene, with an in, so it's an alkene, so it's a double bond. So if we say that using our conversion, we number this as carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and this is carbon 4. If we put the double bond on a carbon 3, it means that it will be here. This is the double bond, it's on carbon 3. Do you see? It is here. And then we fill the other carbons with the hydrogen. We just followed the name exactly as it is. We just wrote the structural formula based on the name that we were given. Now, also do the condensed formula, and after that you can now explain why the naming is wrong. Now, let's do the condensed formula for this one. Because we have drawn the structural, we have written the structural formula. We just wrote the structural formula by following the instruction. But means we've got 4 carbons. 3 means on carbon number 3, we numbered our carbons. Then on carbon number 3, we put a double bond because there's an ene. So that it means it's an alkene. There's an in there. So now let's hear Mahlodi. What is the condensed formula? How are we gonna Make the condensed formula there.
CH3,
So that's going to be CH3,
CH2,
CH2,
CH2, and another CH2.
CH2 and another CH2. Okay, like this. Here it is. Ish, this thing, what is it doing, man? Okay, this is the condensed formula. What is the other way of writing this condensed formula, guys?
CH3, CH22 in a bracket.
CH3,
Yes.
CH2,
Three.
CH2, 3 in a bracket. This is still acceptable, but it would be preferable for you to write it in this way. Don't include the CH2 in the bracket, the one that is got a double bond. It would be preferable, but this is still correct. Yes, Bandisile.
So there are 5 carbon molecules on carbon number 3.
The what?
There are 5 bonds.
Oh,
on
5
carbon
bonds
number 3. Yes.
on carbon number 3. Oh, yeah, let's clear that out. So carbon 1, 2, 3, we're having 5 bonds, so this hydrogen is not supposed to be there. Okay, so in other ways, this means that this is not CH2, this is just CH. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's fine. Just make it in this way. Your condensed structural formula. Just write it in this way. Now it's time to explain why is it wrong. Why would you say that this is wrong? Orifa?
So because it's wrong because the carbon that has the triple bond was not given the lowest number. It's supposed to be but1.
Yes, after drawing the structural formula, you can see that here, no matter how even if we want to make this our carbon number 3, the way we drew it and show the way we wrote it, we say that this is going to be our carbon 3, counting from left to right. But the moment you put a double bond here, you are putting the functional group, so you need to count from the carbon that is closest to the functional group. So essentially, you are forced to count from right to left. This is supposed to be your carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, and carbon 4. The reasoning is basically you drawing the structures per se, but you need to explain and say, if you use the IUPAC standard of naming, definitely the double bond, the carbon, double bond carbon is on carbon number 1. This double bond is on carbon number 1. So basically, double bond here is on carbon 1. Can just use whatever English that you want to explain, but at least draw the structure so that you can properly see why you dispute the given name. So the functional group or the double bond can never be on a carbon 3. You can say that it can never be on carbon 3, or you can say that it is on carbon 1. Okay, are you guys understanding this?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is the proper name of this molecule?
It's going to be
So but1 in.
Yes, that's gonna be but1 in. So it's but1 in, or you can say it's 1-butene. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we are done with a topic 1. Yes.
If I say but-2 in, is correct or wrong?
It's wrong. Incorrect.
All right.
Give a reason why, Orica.
Okay.
Why would it be wrong for us to say but2 in?
Well, it's going to be wrong because the carbon that contains or that is next to the double bond must be given the lowest possible number, and 1 is smaller than 2.
Yes. So although Mahlodi, the double bond is between carbon 1 and carbon 2, but when we write the naming here, we are going to take the lowest numbered carbon that has got this double bond. We're going to take the carbon that has got the lowest number between these two that are having the double bond between them. Is that clear?
Yes.
All right.